Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
Welcome in. Glad you're along. The new drug today is my friend Hayes Carline's got the day off. JJ LaSelva is here. I'm Frangie. We got all kind of fun stuff planned for you today. On the third day of training camp. Hot one out there today, JJ. Hot one out there today. Kind of warm.
Yeah.
Warm today.
It's July 25th.
It's supposed to be hot, isn't it? For God's sake. Yeah, kind of hot out there today. So all kind of fun stuff to do today. We got kind of a fun show today. Hayes has the day off, but we've got a number of guests that we're going to talk to about kind of some fun issues. I talked about it, JJ, during the handoff. You've seen the executive order from the president, right? The president's executive order for.
I saw that there was one. I honestly don't really know too much about it.
Well, essentially, the president of the United States has sent out an executive order mandating all this stuff about all these things he wants college athletics, not just college football, college athletics to do, which is a crazy thing, right? And so, he said, give more scholarships. You have to give more scholars. The one that caught me was all the schools, the Power 5 schools that spend more than $125 million in their athletic budget, which is most of the Power 4 schools, have to spend more this year than they did last year on non-revenue sports and women's sports. Now, I don't know how you enforce that. You know what I mean? But it's crazy is what it is. So we're going to but Brett's going to come by today and kind of talk about kind of what that, because I'm not sure what it means either, but he's going to talk today a little bit about what that means. So we're going to certainly have that conversation coming up today on the program as well. I got a question for you. Are the Braves sellers?
They should be.
I mean, it's unusual.
So far, no.
It's an unusual. Well, no one's sold much yet. It's an unusual circumstance for the Braves. But I got thinking about this. When is the last time the Braves sold at the deadline? Did they? I mean,
probably 10 years, 8 or 9 years.
It has to be. I mean, I can't remember. At least for me, I can't remember a Braves fire sale. I mean, I'm sure there's been one, right? But is that ever happened? In your years following the Braves, has it ever happened?
No, I can't recall. I don't know if there'll be one this year either. I think they'll get rid of some guys, but the core they're going to have to keep.
Yeah.
And they're underperforming, so you're not going to get as much as you would, have previously thought for some of these guys. And Ozuna's hurt, so you're going to get nothing from him. So I don't know if there will be a quote-unquote fire sale like you do see sometimes from these teams where it's like half their roster gets traded at the deadline. I don't know if they'll be able to get much.
Yeah, and it's just so I said this the other day on the program. It is so odd for me to see in this feeling you get that the Braves are done. The Braves are done they're just never done for the year on July 25th.
No, they lost whatever number game that they just lost the other day. I believe it was the last series of the season, the year before last, until they lost that many games.
How about that?
So like 2 months from now, basically.
I mean, the Atlanta Braves are never bad. No, they're never bad, period. But the Atlanta, if you pull up the standings, and the Atlanta Braves are 13 games under. To your point, game 57. That's probably what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
They are 13 games under, and they are 14 games out of first place. It's just a bizarre season. So the second part of that, and I'm going to get some Jaguar stuff in a minute, but the second part of that is the belief in Braves Nation, if there is such a thing, that it's a one-off. And by next year, they'll make this move, that move, and they'll be right back trying to win the pennant?
No.
Or are they down for a while?
Yeah.
Are they down for a while?
Yeah. There's not any – I don't know of any Braves fans that are like, oh, next year we'll be right back at it like we're supposed to be. This is like now we're really worried about the futures of these guys that we had penciled in for years and years that are going to be great, like the Michael Harrises of the world, the Austin Rileys and the Matt Olsons. Now we're worried that – are they just going to suck forever now? I certainly in my friend group, there's no optimism towards next season whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah,
and then the manager's going to step down at the end of the year.
Is that the word? Or
yeah, that he's going to retire.
Oh yeah, so that
why are we letting him retire? It's sad.
Well,
it's pathetic. It's like, so a guy's been in your, because it's well, he's been in the organization for 30 plus years, so he deserved, why? I mean, these guys get paid millions of dollars. You don't deserve anything like on top of that. If you're playing so terribly, for them to just go throughout the season now, just going through the motions, knowing we're not going to do anything, and like, hey, but at least we were nice to this guy. I can't believe it, man. Like the other day, like you said, we're how many games under 500, and he benches Ronald Acuna with a day off coming up. It's for rest. What are we resting for? The season, man. You need to win like every single game now.
Yeah. Well, I guess, but what, I don't know. You would like to fire him now, like today.
I would have fired him like a year and a half ago.
But if it's over, what difference does it make? If he's out after this year,
why do you have him around?
Yeah. Well, again, I don't follow it close enough to know. Is he making bad decisions? Is he, so interesting? It'll be interesting. Who's the new manager? Who's in the hunt?
I don't know, but the way the Braves do things, it's going to be a guy who's been in the organization for 1,000 years. That's what they always do.
My recommendation's Dale Murphy. Can we get Murphy? Can we bring Murphy?
I don't know.
He lives there now.
Whoever's like a double-A coach for the last 45 years in the Braves organization, they'll just make him.
I say Murph. I'm going to start the Murph campaign for you, JJ. Free of charge, okay?
Anybody but Snicker. Maybe his Snicker's son I saw as a joke going around. He's also in the organization. It's a mess.
So it just shocks me. So we'll see if they're sellers. All right, let's get to some Jaguars football. I don't know if anyone else is talking about the name. I didn't get to hear a lot of the shows today. Heard some here and there. Boy, is Parker Washington had a great 3 days. It's 3 days. I get it. It's not 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and there's no pads. But I will tell you this. The Jaguars receivers, if you assume the first four are going to be Brian Thomas Jr., De'Ami Brown, Travis Hunter, and Parker Washington in whatever order. If you assume that's your four, I'm telling you, and the folks that have been out there have seen this. Parker Washington has been fantastic. I'm telling you, Parker Washington he made 2 or 3 catches today, one in the back of the end zone from Trevor. Boy, has he looked good. He's lean, yet he really looks the part. I will tell you, If indeed Travis Hunter starts on offense, if that's where this is headed, I'm going to get to that in a minute. If he's one of the 3 starting receivers, if you assume your team is going to start in 11 personnel, which is what everybody does now, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide, and if he's one of the 3 wide, he being Travis Hunter, meaning the 3 wide are Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and De'Ami Brown, boy, Parker Washington's a really good 4th guy. And a 3rd guy if Travis is more on defense. Now, I don't know that there's a lot of depth at that spot yet. Maybe this guy, Josh Cephas, is the next guy up. But whoever the 5th guy is has to play special teams. A lot of it comes down to how good a special teams player he is, I suppose. But boy, Parker Washington has really, really jumped off the page for me. Boy, Foye Oluokun, you heard him on the drill this morning. Boy, he's had a nice 3 days. He looks so happy to be back in his most natural position. Boy, does he look happy and content to me to be back in his natural position. Tyler Lacey looks good. Tyler Lacey is the guy that I wasn't sure they drafted him out of Oklahoma State. He's a guy that you thought had a chance to factor. I find myself wondering now if he might be a really big factor. We'll certainly see whether or not he will. So that stood out for me. And I will tell you this, the running back room might be one of the best they've had here in 31 years of football. It's not going to be Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew in the same room. They'll never have that again. No team. I'm not sure any team's going to have that again. But if you take the Fred Taylor, Maurice Jones-Drew years out of here, particularly the years they were there together, I don't know. I love the running back room. I'm watching to see who gets what reps and who starts. And again, we won't share that. We'll let the Jags share that when the games start. But whether it's Bigsby with the ones, whether it's ETN with the ones, with his basial tooting. You love tooting, right, JJ? You've watched him a lot.
I love Tootin. I've heard him. I've seen him play one game against the Hurricanes.
Well, so when you weren't the, why did I think you loved tooting?
I don't know.
Wasn't you? Maybe it was Hayes that loves tooting. Maybe Hayes loves tooting. But tooting anyway. The running back room is I'm telling you, the running back room's pretty good. So that's what stands out to me. So it'll be fun. I wanted to ask Tom McManus during the handoff what if you're Tom McManus, who's a middle linebacker that loves to hit people. I would say the night before first day of contact, a fun night. I guess you're getting excited for it. So we'll be out at practice there's no practice tomorrow. They'll be back on the field on Sunday. We'll all be out there watching them practice on Sunday. And then Monday they hit for the first time. And knowing that most people believe it's going to be sort of a physical practice or a physical camp, let's say, I'm very interested to see what winds up happening. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that, and it'll be a lot of fun. So a lot of things to do today on the program. Let me set the scene for you. In just a minute, we're going to do Sports and Courts. Brett Hastings stops by. We'll talk all about this whole executive order from the President of the United States. What does it mean? How is it enforced? Will the teams really, will college football programs or college athletic programs really act differently now? Does that trump what Congress votes in? And I mean, is it first? I got some real thoughts about that, and Brett's going to explain it because I'm very curious. It's one of the big stories we've seen in a long time. Lee Smith will check in at 4:40 to talk golf with us. Looking forward to that. Pete Prisco comes along in the 5 o'clock hour, as he always does, and I want you to hear some of the comments from Liam Cohen. I don't think a lot of people heard that other than the ones that heard it live this morning on The Drill. So we are loaded up with stuff. JJ's got some headlines for us in the second hour of the program as well. A lot to do on the show. Glad you're with us. Doing always thank my friends from Big Chief Tire Company, the best tire company around with 6 locations now on the First Coast. The most recent ones are Orange Park and Mandarin. There's always been 2 on the west side, 1 on the north side, 1 on the south side. Always a Big Chief Tire Friday on the program. We'll take a break. Sports and Courts will kick it off. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He'll tell you about tonight's games and hot topics.
It's him.
Hacker After Dark.
I'm always punctual.
Live and local, even late night.
You're exactly the kind of hero the world needs.
Right after Rick Ballou. Evenings on 1010XL.
Big number 1 Duval Ford is trusted by Duval families, Duval businesses, and law enforcement across Florida. We're Jacksonville's largest Ford dealer by new Ford sales with the biggest service facility to keep everything in your driveway and in your fleet on the road. Shop Big number 1 Duval Ford on Cassett Avenue for our low prices and nationally recognized service-first experience. Big number 1 Duval Ford, proudly serving North Florida since 1916.
Hi, folks. I'm Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it, I guarantee it.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harold and Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold and Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Summer is here, and that means it's time to feast on delicious Bono's St. Louis ribs. The small and large rib platters are at a low price to beat the summer heat, and you get 2 southern sides and garlic toast with each platter. It's an unbelievable deal that won't last long, so head to Bono's today to get your St. Louis ribs platter. I'm hungry now just talking about it. Head to Bono's today, and remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Looking for summer fun the whole family can enjoy? Check out Wick, a candle bar. Make your own custom candles and body care products in store at Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Hey, poker players, Christmas in July is back at Best Bet, along with daily high hand promotions. This month, get ready to cash in on over $700,000 in high hands at all Best Bet locations. And ride the waves into Best Bet St. Augustine for chances to ride away on a Yamaha Wave Runner. From table games to tournaments, Best Bet has a spot for everyone. Visit BestBetJax.com. That's BestBetJax.com for all the exciting details.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take the field this Saturday. Kickoff at 7. Tickets start at just $15. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card. All for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Ask about the Sharks 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card, all for only $100. It's Military Appreciation Night, presented by True Vet Solutions. All current and former military can purchase a special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for a jersey auction and autograph session, sponsored by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectible. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
It's hurricane season. Protect your home with 904 Gutters with a Z. That's right. Z as in zone defense for your home. Water damage hits hard. 904 Gutters with a Z hits back harder. Search 904 Gutters with a Z and make the right call.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports and Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
All right, Brett Hastings joins us now. It is time for Sports and Courts, and I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to get right to it. I can always tell when you're locked in because when the Gators are chasing that national championship, you had all your different little Gator hats on, the one you won't take off, you sleep in it and take a shower in it and all that stuff. You got the big Jaguar hat on today. You're locked in, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
That's a big Jaguar logo in front of that hat.
They're exciting. It's the most exciting the Jaguars have been in a long time.
Okay,
you know?
You get that feel, don't you?
I do. It's going to be a fun season.
All right. Brett Hastings with us, Sports and Courts. The President of the United States issued an executive order with recommendations on how college athletics should be governed. I'm gonna strip this bare bones because people are listening. Because I'm very surprised. I don't remember this ever happening, at least that I can remember before. So it's gonna be rudimentary, but I'm gonna ask you, what is an executive order? What does it mean?
So obviously, the president is the head of the executive branch. Okay, the executive branch. If we just go back to the old school, grade school, constitutional principles and everything else, is to enforce the laws, okay? So you can think of this as sort of an advisory opinion. He's going to tell the people that are within his administration and, you know, all of these other people that, hey, this is kind of what I want to see happen. Now, how is this different than regular law, right? Did he issue this thing yesterday and did all of the law in the United States change? No law changed, right? There's nothing here that is directly enforceable. Now, he has.
So it's a recommendation.
Right. But, he has asked for specific actions, in a couple places. This thing's really relatively long for, the listeners. So hopefully you don't got to go read it. But at the beginning, it starts out with a narrative and says, hey, look, these are the problems in college, athletics. We need to fix them. At the end, he does have a few action items, and those are what I think are pretty important. He says within 30 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Education, in consultation with the Attorney General, the Secretary of Health, all these people need to get together and come up with new, essentially, guidelines.
Okay.
He calls litigation mechanisms to help effectuate what he's saying earlier in the order, okay? Then he goes in and says, and this is the one that I think is almost the most important to come out of this. He says, the Secretary of Labor and the National Labor Relations Board shall determine and implement the appropriate measures with respect to clarifying the status of collegiate athletes, including through guidance, rules, or other appropriate actions that will maximize the educational benefits and opportunities provided by educational institutions. What that means, I don't know.
Okay.
But if there were to be a National Labor Relations Board that said they are employees or not, that would clarify a really big legal issue.
Yeah, well, that's right. And the NCAA wants them not to be employees. Here's what I've read a bunch about this today, as I know you have. What do you want?
I think they want them not to be professional athletes,
Right.
but I don't know how they cannot say what's the difference between a student at UF who then works in the advertising department and part of a pay thing. There are certain things that you have to do. So,
but I agree with that.
Right.
But what I took out of this, Brett, also, number one, he wants women's sports and some non-revenue sports to not be cut. In fact, I think he even said schools that have an athletic budget of $125 million or more have to spend more money on non-revenue sports and women's sports than they did this year. That's it. I mean, that's very specific.
absolutely. He's super clear
Yeah.
that he basically, if you read it and read
Yeah.
between the lines,
You
says
can't
there's a
write-
ton of money in college athletics, and we need to make sure that all the non-revenue sports, everybody
Yeah.
are supported and lifted up. And the thing they point out is that to not do that, one, it's important to support women's sports, but our Olympic efforts would suffer.
Yeah.
And that's a really
Yeah.
big part of it.
Right. That's right. So he said you can't run off the women's tennis player or the male golfer or the female golfer to create more dollars for the football player. He's very clear about that. The other thing he said is, which this College Sports Commission has been saying, and everybody is saying they want, this clearinghouse has been saying, is you have to be very careful that third-party money can only be spent if it's a legitimate endorsement deal, not pay for play. And that's what this clearinghouse is in place. So he's kind of saying what we've been saying all over.
Right. This is what the NCAA has said.
So, now that's what he's saying. But you and I both know this. You're one of the smartest people I know about the law. I don't know nearly as much as you do, but I know this. Congressional action and court rulings determine what we do in this country,
right?
Not an executive order. So
Right.
it's still got to pass. There's either got to be a ruling or a court order for this to go through. Correct?
Right. Well, there are decision makers, right, that are below him, and the idea behind this is to help effectuate, right, the intent of his order. But what this does, if you want to break it down and why I believe this is important, why I believe this is a big story, this is setting the stage to say, hey, listen, the President of the United States, the most powerful man in the country, wants to see this happen, and we talk about having a national solution. So I think this is saying, hey, Congress, come back to me, right? We're going to do what we can do right now through the agencies below me, but we need to have a national solution to be able to go out and force. Give me that legislation so that we can go and put this into place. And, the name of this is Saving College Sports, right? And so the idea is go get a national solution to solve that, because if you read the narrative at the beginning, that's really, like you said, there are two things that come out of this. One is a chaotic litigation, legal environment, and we are, ripping back the traditions of college athletics. And we need to solve that. And the way we need to solve it, though, we need to make sure that there's maximum scholarship opportunities for men and women, and that smaller revenue sports are, preserved.
Yeah. And so as I read this, and again, I'm not going to get into politics here, but if you follow this, whether you agree with him, you're for him, love him, hate him, whatever, clearly the Donald Trump presidency, and frankly, both terms of the Donald Trump presidency, is about making it the way it used to be. The making America great again, whether you're on that side of it or not, certainly in his mind, it's let's get it back to the way it was. And so this seems consistent to me with that. So he wants, and by the way, there's a lot of people in college football and college athletics that want it back to the way it was, when you don't have people transferring every year and you don't have players driving Lamborghinis. And so he's trying to get it back to the way it was. That's my take on all this stuff. Will an executive order from the President of the United States make a difference? How is it enforced?
It will.
And tell me how.
It will. Legally, it's not changing anything overnight. But I think this is the beginning of creating the momentum to go towards federal legislation that will help to bring, all of these things together. This was such a big story. We didn't go. We were going to talk about the fact that they're getting ready to make a bunch of changes and pass law for boxing.
Yeah, I'm going to have you touch on that. Because, by the way, just so you know, I'm glad you said it. Brett's taking inside the business. That was going to be sports and courts until the executive order came down. Right. So then we pivoted. I'm going to ask you about that a little bit too. But
here's what's interesting, and we should stay on this today. Boxing is the only sport that the government regulates, okay? The National Football League regulates itself. Major League Baseball, NBA, everything else.
I never thought about that.
So we've had the NCAA, and I applaud Trump for stepping up on this. And it's not so much that the order doesn't do anything, but he's doing everything he can in his position. And I think every one of us, everybody that listens to this, loves college athletics in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
I agree.
We want to preserve those traditions. I think at the core, most people are of the mindset that, yes, these athletes should share, right? You should be able to profit from your name, image, and likeness. And we want there to be some stability. And so where I think this is important is what this executive order is clear. We got a problem. We do have a problem, right? We've got a problem because we have more unknowns than knowns right now, right? And that's not fair to the players. That's not fair to the athletic directors. That's not fair to the coaching staffs, what have you. And so he's saying, look, we've got a good thing, and hey, let's do it. Let's make college football and non-revenue sports great again. And at the end of the day, I think this at least helps to set the stage for some type of national solution. And, what's important here, too, is you say, okay, you can't have these third-party pay for play. I think also this is going to help to provide support, as they go in to try to create these, name, image, and likeness clearinghouses, because that's what they're wanting to say, right? They want to say, okay, we can't have Big Booster, and he's just going to give the most money and get this player, and it can't be a pay-for-play deal. And so what they need to do is have legitimate name, image, and likeness deals, right? Like real brand deals, not something that you just call it a name, image, and likeness deal, but everybody in America knows that it's a pay-for-play deal.
Brett, at what point, and this isn't about Trump or Biden or any Obama, whoever your president did, whoever your favorite president was or wasn't, whatever side you're on is inconsequential to my question. But how much should, in your opinion, how much should the chief executive of the United States factor in or weigh in on our sports world? Meaning, I mean, what if President Donald Trump said, okay, my executive order is we need a 16-team playoff, and it should be the 5-11 plan.
Right.
Will that ever happen? I mean, is that stepping out of his lane? In your opinion?
No, and I'll answer it. It's really pretty clear to me, right? I don't want the government in my life at all. It's one of the reasons I've chosen to go in my whole path, right? But do I want the government regulating the National Football League? I don't. The NBA, Major League Baseball. But I believe because of the legal complexities in college athletics right now, we need that, right? We need more than that. We know in college football that if we had a commissioner, a lot of this stuff would get resolved overnight. Now, one of the problems that we have is all the power is vested with the athletic directors, and everything else right now. There really isn't anybody speaking for the players. So do I want to see 9 million antitrust lawsuits? I don't. But that's what's been able to effectuate some change. And that's really the leverage that the players have here. But we could get everybody to a bargaining table and figure out what was the best, for everybody. So in this instance, I salute Trump. In this instance, I do think that we need someone to help push these things forward, right? Because until the employment status of these athletes gets resolved, we're going to continue to have a whole bunch of other lawsuits. But, even just in the time that we've been doing sports in courts, 6, 7, 8 years ago, we knew these things were coming, but we would never factor that we would be in a point and place where guys are being compensated like they are now and what they're doing. And, I mean, there's tons of money being spent on players, right? I'm not seeing a ton of commercials with guys. Right. I'm not seeing a ton of brand engagement. So, the college football and college athletics lover in me and the lawyer in me is going to call a spade a spade. These are all pay for play situations. And so let's get those things figured out. Let's get it so that these guys don't have to, can generate money for these universities. Let's create it so that players aren't in college forever. Let's set it up so maybe you could transfer 1-2 times or whatever, but not you're transferring every semester. And let's do something that balances it, that gives the athletes something, but protects the traditions that we love that are in college athletics, and not just have full bore free agency.
Well, very well said. And to the point, succinctly, let's get it to the way it used to be, at least closer to it. Very good.
Well, we're not going back to Camelot.
Closer to it.
Right. But let's do something that resembles college athletics and the traditions.
And back to my question, should the chief executive of the United States be involved in this stuff? Well, the reality is, to your point, when you're comparing it to pro sports, there's no pro sports league that has 120 teams. They've got 30 teams. They've got a commissioner. They play by mostly the same rules. The Wild West has become college athletics has become the Wild West because there's so many different teams and conferences and rules and agendas and egos, and you don't have that at the pro sports level. So your point is the president is trying to let's rein in the Wild West a bit.
Right.
And I think that was your point.
And the one thing that wasn't included in the order was there isn't an antitrust exemption, right? Or not directing the agencies or whatever, which, is at least interesting, not something I expected, but we'll see what happens.
And by the way, you said when we started Sports and Courts, this is 21 years of Sports and Courts. So I was like way younger. Okay, that's what everyone. Just so you know, I was like mid-40s when we started Sports and Courts. Just so you know, Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Let's get it to golf. We come back. My friend Lee Smith is the executive director of the Players Championship. He is also our golf analyst. He's on the road to Minnesota with the tour right now. He'll talk some golf after this. So stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
A hot day, ice cold drinks, and smoking hot sports takes.
I like that, man. I like that.
1010XL, your summertime fun station.
Make a statement this summer with luxury. Experience the art of progress at Jenkins Genesis of Northeast Jacksonville. Choose the sleek and powerful G70 or the versatile and refined GV80 SUV that's designed to elevate your journey. Enjoy exclusive summer offers and flexible financing. Showroom on Atlantic Boulevard, or learn more at genesisofnortheastjacksonville.com. For all life's journeys, Jenkins Genesis of Northeast Jacksonville is here. Welcome to the family. Offers subject to change. See dealer for details.
Santa Claus normally avoids Florida this time of year, but not this year. Christmas in July is happening right now at Beard's Diamonds. Get up to 40% off now through July 27th. Beard's showcases are stocked with all new fashion jewelry, exquisite colored gemstone pieces, and the best selection of diamonds in North Florida. Rounds, emerald cuts, princess cuts, cushion cuts, ovals, from a half carat to 10 carats and more. Come and find the perfect engagement ring now at Beard's and save up to 40%. Beard's Diamonds at the shops at Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy. Why so glum?
Stinky ice cubes, Jason. It's all downhill from here.
What?
The tap water at my place smells kind of funky. Funky tap water makes funky ice cubes. I meet a nice girl, invite her back to my place for a cocktail, and blow my whole romantic gesture with a mojito that smells like dog's feet.
Wait, I can totally
love a man with soft hair, don't they, Jason?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend every day worried about the water in your own home, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hello. The Checkmate Coatings phone line has you covered from the floor up. From tough sports topics to strong surfaces, Checkmate Coatings is your floor's missing piece and your connection to the sports world on 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coatings, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
The Golf Club of Southampton has big plans for 2026, renewing the greens plus plenty more. But right now is the time to take advantage of member opportunities before the big renovation. Now until the end of September, you can join and save 50% off their initiation fee plus $500 back in a gift card with a 12-month commitment. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Playability for every skill level and a huge practice area to hone your game. Lock in now and enjoy membership privileges at the Golf Club of Southampton.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the tour update with Players Championship Executive Director Lee Smith.
Keep an eye on this one.
Presented by Sunshine Turf, the highest quality artificial turf at affordable prices.
And the word is out now. Everybody knows the name Sunshine Turf, the best turf company in all of Jacksonville. They put that putting green in my backyard, and I love it. You will love it as well. But it's not just putting greens. It's get one of those or get a playground area or a turf area for your playgrounds. They're doing them all over town, by the way. They're getting them ready for these elementary schools to start. So Sunshine Turf, that is the name to know. My man Lee Smith is on the road today. Lee, you're up in Minnesota, correct?
Yes, sir. Was in Minnesota, Frank, with our proud partner at the Players Championship, Optum, and visiting their campus, getting them excited about the Players Championship 26. Got to sneak out to Old Hazeltine National and play a little golf side of the Ryder Cup in 2029. So really good trip to Minnesota.
All right, tell me a little bit about the 3M Open. Tell me what the significance of it, just a little bit about it.
Yeah, really cool golf course. I think you're seeing it in action. That they got a lot of rain early in the week, but typically a golf course that is a birdie fest. and an exciting tournament that well into 20 under par typically wins the tournament. But one of those fun golf courses, and sometimes, maybe in the middle of July between the final major championship and the playoffs, a tough point on the schedule, but due to limited spots, less playoff spots, there's a lot of players, a lot of names that are playing in that event, trying to sneak their way into the top 70 or make Ryder Cup points and all of those types of things. So I think it's a fun golf course to watch, and you're going to see a lot of birdies. And the winner needs to make a bunch of putts to close it out.
All right, we'll certainly watch it as the weekend continues on. Let's look back at last week at Royal Portrush. Boy, I will tell you. And look, I was a kid when Nicklaus was dominating. I probably didn't pay close attention to golf. But I can't, other than Tiger, I can't remember anything like this other than Tiger. It's almost from your world, who knows it so much better, and you've played, and what the Scheffler domination, Lee. Have you seen anything like this other than Tiger?
No, it is. It's fun to watch. I think you think about just those. Think about I think about high school kids that are 18 years old that didn't get to see Michael Jordan and didn't get to see Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Looking at didn't get to see Pete Sampras or some of those athletes in other sports, and what they've seen over the last 18 years of LeBron James and Steph Curry and really Patrick Mahomes in football. This is just one of those athletes that is playing at an elite level, just like his colleagues, but he's playing at least one step above everybody else. And when you start to then compare eras and compare stats from one Scotty Scheffler to a Tiger Woods, he's comparing very favorably. I think I saw a stat that I think Scotty's last 2 years last 3 years of ball striking compare, at just as equal or favorably as Tiger Woods' 3 years. And it was like a select 3 years of Tiger Woods. It wasn't 3 in a row,
right,
like Scotty's put together. It's just, it's really, really impressive. And then I think to probably say it better than any of us can is that when you hear Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas and Jordan speak about their colleague and who they're competing against, and putting him on a level that they haven't seen in recent years, I think probably says the most.
Is there one reason, Lee, why he's this good? I mean, it's he drives it long, but I don't think he's going to win the long drive. He doesn't outdrive everybody. He had to become a good putter. That was a weak area. Now he's a really good putter. Is it short game? Is it just consistency? Is there one thing with Scheffler that makes him this dang good?
No, I think the easiest answer, Frank, is no. There's not one thing. I think if there was any chink in the armor at the beginning, I mean, you go through the entire game. That you're right. He doesn't drive it as the farthest of anybody. He doesn't drive it the straightest as anybody. He probably ball strikes it from tee to green as well as anybody. Stats will show. But and then his mental game. I think the commentators there on NBC made comments about how often is he dead pin high. Lands the ball 20 feet short and it rolls out to pin high 15 feet left. But when another guy, it might be long or might be short, ball rolls into trouble. I think he just manages his way around a golf course. And he is just superb or at an elite level at all areas. And early on, maybe the chink in his armor was putting, and now you start to see where he's top 10 in any particular week in putting. And those are the weeks that he's going to win by 4 or 5. He's just that good all the way around. And then, I think it's impressive his pre-week press conferences that speak about where the game of golf and winning tournaments fits in his life. I think that just provides that added mental perspective that it's, it's not life or death for him. It's I'm going to go out and I'm going to compete, and I'm as big a competitor as possible. That competitive spirit that you always have heard from the Kobes to the Tigers to Michael Jordan's, he's got it when he's on the golf course. But once he goes outside the ropes, he tends to be a family man and a regular guy. I think you put all of that together, and it just adds up to him being an elite athlete on the golf course.
Yeah, he really is. Lee Smith with us. He's the executive director of the Players Championship. And, of course, our golf analyst does a terrific job. All right, I'm going to get to the most rudimentary levels here so people can understand it. Explain to us the FedEx Cup playoffs, FedEx Cup points, and how and obviously it changes this year, by the way, when we get to the Tour Championship. We'll get to that in a minute, the way the Tour Championship is aligned. But explain to people what the FedEx Cup playoffs, why they came about, the whole deal. Give somebody a little background there, if you would, Lee.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to explain it is that the FedEx Cup is basically our year-long competition. So each tournament that's played starting with the Century in January and the opening drive, through the Players Championship in March, each of the major championships, and now with these last two tournaments, comprise the regular season. And where you finish in each of those tournaments adds up your FedEx Cup points, which then qualifies you for the playoffs. And not only does it qualify for you for the playoffs, which is the last three events of the year, the FedEx St. Jude in Memphis, the BMW this year at Caves Valley in Maryland, and then the Tour Championship Atlanta. But it also provides really what your status is going to be the following year and where you're going to get to play. So what the players are competing for now is to compete to get into the top 70, which the top 70 will get them into the playoffs, will get them into that first event at the FedEx St. Jude in Memphis, but will also allow them into all of the major tournaments, and the signature events, not signature events for the top 70, but the invite events that allows them to make their own schedule next year. Then that top 70 plays in the FedEx St. Jude, and the top 50 in FedEx Cup points after that tournament. That allows them to get into all the signature events next year. So it allows them those top 8 signature events with the high purses and the multiplied points, that gets them into those events. So it allows them even more control over their schedule. And what does a professional golfer like better than to be able to create next year's schedule in August,
right?
And really, find out exactly where he's going to be and what he's going to play. And then the top 30 after that BMW championship will qualify for the Tour Championship in Atlanta, and then they play for a separate purse, which is the FedEx Cup and the additional FedEx Cup purses. So, which will run all the way through those three events also. So it's the FedEx Cup points is our regular season, and then it just turns into the playoffs, which allows them to play for additional prizes plus how they're going to create their schedule for the following year.
And to explain how deep the field is, some of these numbers, top 70, top 50, top 30 that Lee's throwing out there. Let me give you an example. As of today, Jordan Spieth is 50th. 50th. Xander Schauffele is one of the best players in the world, is 42nd. So it's a deep field, man. It's hard to get into that top 30 if you think about that. So that is the significant. I'm going to go quicker because I have two more things for you. Explain, and we'll do this more when we get to the Tour Championship. But why did they change the Tour Championship? Before you started with a lead, right? They changed that this year. Explain that and why, in your opinion.
Yeah, I think basically this was more coming from, as you've seen from the Tour and our Fan Forward initiative and the fan surveys of the 50,000 surveys that we received, feedback that came from the fans as well as from the players was that what we called was starting strokes. And the idea of starting strokes, as you know, Frank, it was recognizing accomplishment through the regular season.
Correct.
If you played really, really well through the regular season, you got a little bit of an advantage when it came to the end of the tournament. But I think what we heard from the players and from the fans was that, we wanted a real competition at that final event and drama, and not somebody getting an advantage before the event started. So it was really came from fan initiatives and player feedback that says, let's play a 4-round tournament and everybody starts at 0. When it comes to that particular event. So we're excited about, albeit it's not new, we're excited about that change and going back to where we were. I think maybe we played starting strokes for 6 or 7 years, but excited to go back to the Tour Championship being, at a place where everybody starts at 0 and the best player for those 4 rounds wins.
All right, final thing. This has been a tutorial for us today, by the way. Lee's explaining things for people that don't get it. Explain Ryder Cup points. And for people that don't know, the Ryder Cup is this year at Bethpage Black, last week of September, I think. So it's coming up. Explain Ryder Cup points, why they matter. Explain captain's choices. Explain that, again, from a rudimentary standpoint, how this works for folks, if you would, Lee.
Yeah, so the Ryder Cup is obviously a very large team event owned by the PGA of America, and similar to FedEx Cup points. Each tournament that you play in and how you finish, you get rewarded with Ryder Cup points over the last couple of years. Leading in, the Ryder Cup's played every 2 years. And this year at Bethpage Black up in New York as you said, at the end of September. And 2, you garner those points. For perspective, a guy like Scotty Scheffler almost has a 3 times point lead in first place versus second place. So obviously Scotty has guaranteed his spot on the Ryder Cup team. But how it works is throughout that period, the top 6 players after the BMW Championship will automatically be on the U.S. team for the Ryder Cup, which right now, as I mentioned, Scotty Scheffler is in first place there. Xander Schauffele is in second place. And to your point, Xander Schauffele hasn't had a great 2025, but his 24 was so good that's why he is second in Ryder Cup points. So most likely he'll be on our Ryder Cup team. So the top 6 will make that after the BMW Championship. And then Keegan Bradley, who's our U.S. captain, will get to choose 6 of his captain's choices after the Tour Championship. Most likely is when he'll make those choices. And players like Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely, players that have had really, really good years that may not qualify automatically will need to get picked by Keegan Bradley. And I'm sure we'll discuss as we get closer. Keegan Bradley may even pick himself this year.
And by the way, the reason Lee brought those names up, the people he just brought up, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, are just outside the current 6. The current 6 are Scheffler, Schauffele, J.J. Spawn, Russell Henley, DeChambeau, and Harris English. So if it was today, those 6 are on the team. Right?
Correct.
Those 6 and then 6 more good picks. So it's a lot of fun stuff. So even though we talk golf more when the Players is here, when the Masters is here, it's going to be a really interesting end of the golf season because it's a Ryder Cup year and because the Tour Championship is going to be an awful lot of fun to watch. So, Leah threw a lot at you there, brother. We certainly appreciate it. We'll have you back in studio next week, man. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
You got it, Frank. You do the same.
All right. Lee Smith, gosh, he does a great job talking golf. I don't know anybody that understands it and talks it better than he does. Lee Smith is the executive director of the Players Championship. He is our golf analyst. We'll take a break. Let's get it back to some Jaguars football, some NFL football when we come back. Pete Prisco joins us. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, bring the best sports and entertainment talk to Jacksonville. Good luck, 1010XL. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
This is Hayes Carlion for Harrell & Harrell. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harrell & Harrell. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Here's Linda Beaver.
The dog days of summer are here, and so are the hottest deals of the year. Whether you're hauling down the street, cruising on the beach, or just escaping the heat, we have the ride you're looking for and the wow you experience you deserve. Save big on select models with sizzling summer savings, low financing, and limited time bonus cash on all trades. So don't sweat it. Come beat the heat at Beaver Automotive, where the summer deals will wow you.
You wouldn't drive your car 50,000 miles without an oil change, so why are you ignoring your septic tank? Septic tanks need to be pumped every 3 to 5 years. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule your septic pump out with the pros at Duck Duck Rooter.
Let's get the work done. Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Reach Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Let's go. Here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
From humble origins on Beach Boulevard to the grandeur of the old homestead, Taco Lou has bucked the odds, selling cheap tacos and even cheaper beers since 2008. I'll be the first to lament that nothing is cheap anymore, but much has not changed in 17 years. Bangin' Shrimp still rocks, margaritas flow day and night, and we love to see old friends and make new friends every day. You can still spin the wheel or sit outside on the patio in the sun with friends and family. It's been a ton of fun, and we have you, Jacksonville, to thank for 17 years. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go, Gator!
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Need the right tools for the job without the full-time price tag? Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach is what you need when you need it. From heavy machinery for commercial projects to weekend projects at the house, we've got you covered. We've been serving Jacks for 50 years. Visit Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach, just behind Aqua East Surf Shop, or call today. We also have event rentals too. Tucker Equipment Rentals. Tools you need without the price tag of purchasing.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through July 31st. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by First Coast YMCA. Between the historic rookie season Brian Thomas Jr. put on tape last year and the addition of both Travis Hunter and Diami Brown, the wide receiver room has some big-time talent. Someone who can slip through the cracks at times, but is extremely talented and efficient when his number is called, is Parker Washington. As Coach Cohen talked about the impact he's had so far after practice.
I've been pleased with Parker, man. I think if you're talking about guys that's gone up and made plays when the ball's been in the air, he's done it. He's got the right mindset. He approaches work the right way every day. He's strong. He can kind of work second-level releases on people when they try to get hands on him. I've been very pleased with Parker the last few days.
It is 92 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
If you're a collector, you got to head to Showtime, man. They've got every team. I don't care who it is you root for. They've got your team in their big open space. You'll love the way they handle it. Some of the nicest people ever. You talk about a place for collectors. Those card shows third Saturday of every month, but even when they're not, just a great place to go. It's on Phillips Highway, right at the end of Shad Road. Head to Showtime, and of course, you can find out more about them on all those social channels. Showtime Sports Cards and Collectors. Pete Prisco joins us now. Pete, are you traveling yet? Are you at camps? Where are you?
I got to Miami tomorrow, and then to Tampa, and then to Jacksonville.
Okay.
So I'll be up there on Tuesday.
All right, we'll look forward to it. What do you hear? I'll give you my thoughts, but what are you hearing so far? I know it's only 3 days, but what's the buzz? What are you hearing from your folk about this?
I hear that the practices are a lot crisper than they've been in the past, which isn't surprising. I thought they'd do that. I think Travis Hunter playing defense today is something that I think you're going to see more of than we talked about that in the summer. I think he's going to play a lot more defense than they thought he was going to, or at least most people thought he was going to. Some of those young players sound like in some of the stuff I've seen, Ransom looks like he's been having good days out there as well. I like the youth. I think the youth is important for this team because, you look at what they have, and there's not a lot of veterans that you look to and say, okay, well, Armstead's one of them, but you look over and where's the veteran? But I think you need to get that youth, that mix of like the 4 and 5 year guys with the 1 and 2 year guys. And I think that's what most teams are looking to try and get.
I'll tell you 2 or 3 things that jumped off the page for me and see if you've heard the same or your thoughts on them. Parker Washington looks better than I've ever seen him look. He really looks like.
I heard that.
Boy, Pete, does he look the part. And there's a certain way those really good slot receivers play. Christian Kirk was a good one, but they know how to sit down in zones. They come out of their breaks a little quicker because they're probably not running down the field that far. You know what I'm talking about. And he's really got that look about him. My guess is he's the 4th guy, Pete, but I wonder if his emergence, stay with me on this, and I don't know, I'm guessing at this, right? But I wonder if his emergence, and he looks so good in that slot, is enabled them to think about playing Travis Hunter more on defense and not quite as much on offense. That doesn't mean not going to play him there. But do you think that's part of it, because I can tell you, I've been at every one of these, that Parker Washington looks good. Could that be the thinking a bit?
I thought, Frank, and we talked about that earlier, I thought he was going to play, not as many snaps on the offensive side as he would on the defensive side. So I think, but it makes that decision a lot easier if Parker Washington can go in there and do that type of play against, the other teams when he's lined up against, top nickel corners. But so far that's a good start. But, it gives them some flexibility there. And again, I thought he was going to play more defense. Early on, I thought he was going to be more offense.
Yeah, me too.
But the more I heard, the more I talked to people, I thought it was going to be more defense and spot in on offense. And so I think if you can get Parker Washington going, then you get him maybe you end up with 45 catches for Travis Hunter, and you're happy about it. You know what I mean? So I think it gives them some flexibility there.
I do. The enticement of Diami Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., and Travis Hunter on offense together, Pete, is they can all fly. I don't know that anybody's got three really fast receivers. Even a team with three good receivers. I don't know if the Vikings or the Bengals have three burners. You know what I mean? That's three guys who can really run. But do you need three? I mean, can you have one guy that's a really good player in the slot that isn't super fast? You don't have to have three guys that are all running go routes, right?
Right. But here's the other part of the equation, though, is, De'Ami Brown's on a one-year deal, too.
Right, that's right.
So, again, it's not exactly like they gave him the ringing endorsement by giving him a couple years. So he's playing for a job. So it gives him some flexibility from that standpoint. But you're right. And, when I talked to Trevor about it, and I was listening to some of the stuff back to the other day because I'm coming up there, and about having the speed, and he says what it does, it makes them back off you when you have those three speed guys. You can't just line up and play man-to-man across the board against them anymore. And I think that gives you an opportunity to, do some things in the middle of the field, which I think they need to get better at doing.
Here's the other thing that stands out for me, and I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, but here's another thing. Pete, and you don't, this is a position you don't really know till you're hitting. I understand that. But boy, I think they've got a good running backs room. I look, they're never going to have something. You're never going to have the likes of Fred Taylor, Maurice Jones-Drew on the same team again. All right. That never happens for anybody. But other than that, this group of running backs, it might be as deep a room as I think they've ever had. Bigsby and Etienne both look very good. Again, no one's hitting yet. I think Bashil Tutin's a guy they think might one day win the job. LaQuint Allen, the kid out of Syracuse, is a really good pass catcher. You can tell the guys that know how to catch the football, right? Pete, I think it's a really deep running backs room. I really do.
Well, and some of the stuff I've heard of there, Tutin looked good so far, right?
Yeah,
the first
really,
couple days.
Very good.
And I loved his tape coming out. I think he's got that home run ability. He's got the ability to take one and go 60. And that's something they don't have. They haven't had. And so I think that's important. And if he can hold on to the football, remember he had the fumbling problem. He fumbled there early in the OTA days. So if he can remedy that, I think he's going to get on the field. But you're right, Allen can catch the ball out of the backfield. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a part of their passing game. I just when I was up there in a minicamp, they were talking about him and how good he is. So with his size like 20 shoe, I think he has. By the way, have you ever taken a look at that?
No. What do you?
And I was standing there, and I think Gladstone pointed it out to me. His feet are enormous.
I didn't notice that.
And he's not a big guy. He's not a tall guy, but his feet, it's amazing. So I do. I like that running back room. And again, Etienne's playing for, his lot in the NFL and where he's going to be. Bigsby, wants to prove to people that he can be a tough in between the tackles runner. And then you have the two kids. I think it's a good room. All
right, let's go around the league a little bit. Christian Wilkins cut by the Raiders, shocked everybody. Trey Hendrickson still not in Cincinnati. In fact, he's here in Jacksonville. That's where he lives. What's going to happen in those two news stories? Who picks up Christian Wilkins? When is he going to be able to play? And what's going to happen with the Hendrickson and Cincinnati thing?
Well, the word out of the Raiders is that he needs another surgery.
Right.
And he didn't have it. And so who's going to sign him when he can go have a surgery? You know what I mean? That means you're going to sign him and hope that you get him down the road. I don't know if there's going to be a great market for him. He's a good player. He's having a great year before he got hurt last year.
Right.
And he's had success. So there could be a market. But again, where is he in terms of the injury? And, he didn't do what they wanted him to do, so they sent him packing. And again, they probably wanted him to have another surgery. He put it off, didn't have it, and didn't rehab the way he wanted him to rehab. So I think he's on the market. Good player if he's healthy. And if he's healthy, there will be a lot of teams looking at him. As far as Hendrickson, I think Hendrickson's going to get his deal done in Cincinnati. I mean, this gets contentious. It always happens every year. And the Bengals get the bad reputation for being cheap and not wanting to pay their guy. They don't want to give him the guaranteed money past the first year. He wants it in 3 years, much like the other guys have been getting. So why don't you meet in the middle and give it to him in 2? And I think ultimately that's what they'll do. I think they'll figure out a way to make that deal work. I think he shows up on opening day. He might not be there for camp, but he'll be there on opening day playing for the Bengals.
Justin Jefferson hurt in Minnesota. Anything to worry about there, or is it just something not to worry about?
I heard it's minor, but we'll see. You never know with these injuries. I mean, you saw yesterday Justin Fields got a dislocated toe, and you thought he got his foot amputated by the way all the reports came out of it. And then next thing you know, he's back out on the practice field again today. So, it doesn't sound like it's major, but any time a guy goes down, and I saw something come out of the practice today that Brian Thomas got dinged a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but and so you see these practice report tweets that you're like, oh no, again? Because remember he went down the day I was there at practice. He got hurt in there. So, yeah, you got to be careful with some of these carted offs and he's hurt and he's out for the week, because until you actually hear it from the team.
What do you think of, speaking of Justin Fields, what do you think of him? You like him? You like him as a player? What do you think?
I think if you cater the offense around him and build some stuff in to help play to his strengths, I think he can be okay, Frank. But, is he going to be the long-term answer? I don't think so. I think he's shown that he's not. And I think if you're the Jets, you hope you get a couple years out of him, or maybe even a year, and you go back into the pool next year and get one of the many, many, many quarterbacks who are going to be in the draft next year. So I don't think he's their long-term answer. In fact, talking to people around the organization, I think that they feel he's more of a stopgap than a guy that can build around for the long term.
All right, final thing or two. We have this talk you and I do often about the going to 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games. I've said all along, and I've stood my ground on this, that I thought it would be by next year. Now I might be wavering because you don't hear any talk of it. For them to go from 17-3 to 18-2 by the 26th season, you would have thought there'd be some conversation coming out of the owners' meetings, which there wasn't. Any chance of that, or are we going to have to say, is it going to be 17-3 for a while?
I think it's going to be 17 until the TV contracts are up in a couple of years. And I think, and that's going to be a while. I mean, that's what, 2033, I think it is. So that's going to be a while. So ideally, I think the league office and everybody else would like to push to get them now, but I think they'll wait. And this is just my hunch, and just from talking to people around the league, that it'd be easier to wait till you get the new TV contract. Then you can sell an extra game, and you can sell an extra package, and you can make more money that way. I think that's ultimately what they're doing. But you're right. They're going to 18 at some point. It's just a matter of when.
Final question, Pete. Where are we headed on international games? You hear so much conversation, what the league wants, how many different places they're going. We've been in, obviously, London forever. We're going to Ireland. We've been in Germany. We've been in Brazil. We've been in Mexico. Where's that? Where, in your opinion, where's that thing? What's the end game there?
It's not putting a team in one of those markets, I don't think.
I don't either.
I think logistically, and, remember we used to talk about the Jaguars going to London. Everybody's tried to make that claim years ago. It's just too hard to do. If you got a guy on a Wednesday, you need to get a guy in. He's got to get on a plane and fly across the ocean to go. But, it's just tough to do, making moves during and the travel would be brutal. So, no, I don't think it's going to be that. I think they're going to keep expanding to the international series where you're playing what are they playing now? 6 or 7 games?
Something like that.
Yeah. And so where does that package go? Eventually that package is going to get sold. Somebody's going to, they're going to bring one of the streamers in and say, okay, we're going to sell this entire package as one. You want it? Okay, you got it. And they're going to put it on that. Because, look, some of those games are on the NFL Network now. Some of them are on some of those streaming services. Some of them are on regular network. But here's the deal. If, the NFL Network is probably going to be sold to ESPN, they're going to be folded in. They're going to be together. And then when that happens, where do those games go? I think they're going to sell them to an Amazon or, a Netflix or whoever, another one of those streamers. That's where they're going. And I think that's what ultimately will happen. You'll get 6 or 7 games a year. Look, they love it. They start at 9:30 in the morning. They got the whole damn day. Yeah. Right? You go from 9:30 until 1 o'clock in the morning after the late game's over.
Yeah, and I think the day's coming where you have a 9. I think my answer to that question, to my own question, I suppose, is kind of what you said. I think the day's coming to where you have a 9:30 game every week. I think that day's good. One day you're going to have a 9:30 game because there's so many.
Maybe not like opening day and certain day, but you're right. But most of the weeks, I would agree.
Because there's so many places in Europe to play. That's what it is. I mean, you don't have a 9:30 game if you're playing in Mexico or Brazil. But if you go to Europe, you can always have that 9:30 game, and I think that's what you're going to wind up having.
Right, Germany, Spain, England, right? You got them all,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
All right, Pete. Enjoy your trip to Miami. Enjoy your trip to Tampa, and we will see you up here on Tuesday. See you, buddy.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. See ya.
All right, Pete Prisco checking in, talking NFL. As always, brought to you at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles, the best in the business, my friends. At Showtime. Now, look, we got to take a break. When we come back, I want you to hear the head coach, Liam Cohen. We don't get a chance to get Liam on all that often. The boys in the morning did a terrific job with him. Dan and Jeff tracked down. They were live at the training camp location today. Liam was kind enough to stop by. What does the head coach think about all this? I want you to hear him in this time slot, so after the break, you'll hear from head coach Liam Cohen as he visited with the boys from the drill. That is next, so stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Where electrifying moments come to life.
Inside of a minute to play.
And legendary performances live.
A monumental milestone in a legendary career.
1010XL. The power of Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Hi, it's Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass, there's one name I trust, and that's Lee & Case Glass. Mirrors, custom showers, tabletops, even foggy glass windows, they handle all that. And they've been doing it right since long before I ever picked up a mic. Local, family-owned, and part of this community, just like we are. They've taken great care of me, including our brand-new walk-off offices. Guys, they did a great job, and I promise they'll do the same for you. Lee & Case is the clear choice. Check them out at leeandcaseglass.com.
This is Jennifer Marion at Randy Marion Cadillac. Are you ready to drive away today in luxury? Then you should check out Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Discover our luxurious lineup with over 100 Cadillacs to choose from, including the stunning Cadillac IQ, Lyriq, Optique, and Vistique.
And here's something important. The $7,500 tax credit on EV vehicles will be gone in just 90 days.
That's right. Don't miss your chance to save while driving in style.
Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Training camp is underway this week, and Showtime has a strong selection of Jaguar cards, including Trevor and BTJ. 2 showcases of options and autographed jerseys and mini helmets. Get ready for Jaguars football at Showtime. Sports cards and collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Get tips from PGA pros on Brunch with the Tour with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. Tuesday morning at 8:30. Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation and Apex Roofing and Contracting. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
Big Chief Tire is always looking for ways to better serve the Jacksonville community we call home. Frank Frangie here. Starting Monday, June 16th, they're opening their 6th shop location in Mandarin, providing more Jacksonville residents with a locally owned auto repair business they can trust. Visit the new shop on San Jose Boulevard today for all your vehicle needs, including brake repair, new tires, and more. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now, 904-762-1000 for a free estimate on generator services. TysonInc.com.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Hello,
First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on the Frangie Show.
Boy, you can really trust my friends from Big Chief. 6 locations in town. Now, Orange Park and Mandarin, the latest 2. The north side, 2 on the west side, and the south side over here on Phillips Highway. Boy, they're good folks. The Parmans know what they're doing. They've done it for over 60 years in this market. Tires and automotive service, oil changes, brakes, alignments, all of it. You can really trust them, too. They're not going to let you get out the door without that car working the way it's supposed to. They're also courteous. It's a nice group, man. No matter what location you go to, it really, really is. We've been around a lot of those, done shows from a lot of them, and it's Big Chief Tire knows what they're doing. Proud to be a spokesperson from our friends at Big Chief Tire Company. Earlier today, the drill was out at training camp, and Liam Cohen, the head coach, stopped by to visit with Dan and Jeff and talk all about the first 3 days of workouts.
Some say Coach, some say Professor Cohen. He's giving out tests. Everybody's talking about the tests, Liam Cohen.
Got a lot of mileage out of that one, Coach.
We got an 85. What happened? What did Johnny Wolford score? I mean, Coach, what are we doing?
Not my idea.
Yeah. I love
That's great.
That's good. That's a good answer.
I love it. How you doing?
Good. Doing great.
Yeah?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
What has been the most pronounced, difference for you being a head coach versus a coordinator, being in some very important positions? Because now it's go time, right? Rubber's on the road.
Yeah, I think just having your eyes on a lot more going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Like during even just a play.
Yeah.
That you're so typically just more so concerned with the outcome of what the offense does.
Mm-hmm.
And then now on the flip side of that, you have to be pleased when the defense makes a good play, right? Or they get an interception or a turnover, and just inside, I'm pissed, but also really excited and happy for the defense. But I have to remind myself in those moments,
that's fair,
of how that's going to happen. But
every day's the spring game.
That's right. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And then just more so getting into the 2-minute football, like the situational stuff, the special teams, just all the different nuances that come with it. And but so much of the guys have been able to work through it. We do mock situations and go through those things. So it's like, hey, what would you do in this situation? We hired a game management guy in June, so really happy with where things are going.
Is no news good news early on in training camp? You hear about for us. Is that a good thing to have?
For what?
Yeah.
We're every single day.
Yeah.
We are actually so just concerned about getting better and on us. I don't care about anybody else.
Right.
We don't care about anybody else in the division right now or anybody else going on around us. It's just, we just need to improve.
Right.
That's all we are actually trying to, focus on right now. I think no news would probably be good news at this stage where you're just trying to put our heads down and actually just go to work and then, come up for air at some point here and see where we're at.
We talk about competition within the roster and getting the roster better, and that all comes down to evaluation. And I just wonder if that becomes tougher. Training camps have changed a lot in the last 20 years, so you don't get to see guys be physical. You're trying to set offensive and defensive lines. You go to preseason games, you're facing different personnel your guys might be. How do you formulate your evaluations with some of those dynamics haven't changed?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's in every moment of the day, right? It's in every single meeting they're being evaluated. In every single walkthrough they're being evaluated. In every, obviously in any practice they're going to be evaluated. In any walkthrough they're being evaluated. So, to go out and be trusted to go play and line up and assign first and foremost without having to go make a play, like we get to judge that a lot throughout the entire day. Like the professionalism, are they handling, are they getting lined up? How are they handling the meetings? All those kind of things. So you have an idea of who knows what. But then, you got to go see guys go out and make plays because that's ultimately what it is about.
Right.
So it is limited, opportunities. But I'll say, throughout the course of practice, like usually the best guys shine.
That's fair.
Right. I mean, usually
That's fair.
The best guys typically, going back to Pop Warner.
Yeah.
The best guys usually,
And where that competition on the roster matters.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
it's 45 to 53. It's, it's important. But
Right. You have an idea.
Yeah.
Visiting with the undefeated coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen.
I've heard that one.
What,
I like it.
What do you think about game days coming up as the head coach and, as you go through everything as the head coach versus the offensive coordinator, but obviously still taking on some of those responsibilities as well? And what kind of head coach are you going to be in terms of fourth down? Are you Dan Campbell, or we always like Andy Reid seems to get the points. I like the points, or you're going to tell me every situation dictates, but
right, yeah. But I think it's a good question. We actually have a mock game coming up here soon, which is a scrimmage, but it's also acting for us as a mock game. Like we're going to go through a modified version of our pregame warm-up routine and go through coming out, out of the locker room and the times and all the different people coming in and out. So, like, we're going to go through that process, have the headsets, coaches up. Like, we're going to really kind of do it like a full game. So, hopefully that'll be a good dry run, as being a head football coach in this league. And then you get your preseason opportunities, which, yes, your starters aren't playing, but operationally, man, you have to be on it. Right? You don't want to look stupid in a preseason game.
Right.
So, and then, when it comes to the style, I think so much of the fourth down stuff is getting to know your team, is knowing what kind of team you have. Yeah, you can go look at a book. And what does the book tell you to do?
Right.
And then there's obvious decisions. Right. Okay, well, we can kick it here. Cam Little can kick the ball pretty hard. Yeah. Now, with the kickoff return, with the touchback change going to the 35, they're trying to eliminate punts, essentially. Right? Trying to get more times to go for it on fourth down. So that in itself is going to play into it, right? You get the ball on the 35-yard line, you gain a first down, you're at the minus 45. Are we in a go zone here at 6 or less? Are we in a go zone at 5 or less? Like, what's going to be that window for us? And ultimately getting to know our team, right? Getting to know our players on both sides of the ball a little bit more. And, in those critical situations, who's going to get it?
Right.
Getting Trevor Lawrence to his ceiling, keeping him at his ceiling, and letting him play at his ceiling consistently. Y'all all speak publicly, of the confidence that you have in that. Yeah. I'm in that camp, personally. How much is fair of what's all the dishevelment early in his career? Yeah. I've always said in what we do, there's a fine line between a reason and an excuse.
For sure.
Right. So, where tell us something.
I think it's all fair. I'll be honest.
All right.
I think
that's kind of where we've landed.
Thing. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, he knows that the production and wins and losses is ultimately what we're judged by. But I also say, playing this position, especially this position in this league, a lot of it is about timing and circumstances.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield couldn't play.
Right.
Sam Darnold couldn't play.
Right.
It goes on and on.
Yeah.
They were on the same team and couldn't play.
Right.
So a lot of it is about timing and circumstance. What is around you? What's the infrastructure built around you from a coaching standpoint, leadership standpoint, players standpoint?
Yeah.
What does that look like? So much of it is that, but also, man, hey, at the end of the day, as a quarterback in the National Football League, ultimately you're judged by, hey, what are you going to do on third downs in the red zone and in 2-minute situations when you need to go score a touchdown? And he knows that needs to improve.
Yeah.
We watched that, that if you watch that quarterback documentary on Netflix, the amazing thing for the fan, I think, was
when they talk about coming out of the huddle.
Yeah.
And everything that first thing I do is look at the clock, then I look at the safeties, then I look at the line, then I look at the protection. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I wonder for you as you coach, because you were a quarterback, are you in that, like, I always thought Spurrier was great play caller because I felt like he was playing the game as he went.
Totally.
Is that a little bit like you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like that's the same processes that these guys go through. Like you went through as a player, right? All right, you break the clock. All right, break the huddle. All right, where's the clock?
Yeah.
Are we legal formation? What's the front? What's the second level? Are we getting any blitz looks? What's the safeties doing? I mean, that whole process.
Right.
It was really cool to hear that, and see that. It's like, man, that's real.
Yeah.
That's everything that their cycle. We call it the cycle of the snap. Everything that happens, before the snap, and now then you got to go play.
Right.
Yep. And so so much of the way you want to call it is seeing it through a lens of, for us, it's balance.
Right.
Like we want to be balanced. We want to be able to run the football, and that can also help alleviate the quarterback's job if you can at times just, man, let me take a breather here and go hand the dang thing off and get 4 yards.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we want to call it balance, but you want to always try to see it through the quarterback's lens if you can. Yeah.
And you remain committed to the ground game. Your offense is, I hear this word a lot, complex. Is it? It takes a while to learn. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think the amount that we do probably pre-snap to try to undress maybe
looking for
looks.
A matchup or
that's
an
right.
advantage.
Yeah, and also to give, because so much is put on the quarterback's plate from maybe 2 play calls, sometimes 3. You want to try to give him answers to the test,
right?
Instead of just go line up in a static formation and say, we're going to run the ball to the left, and if we can't run the ball to the left, we want to run the ball to the right. Well, what are the tips and tells for us offensively to help you undress that pressure to the left so that you can have the ability to say, oh, I see him coming already. Here we go. Let's go the other way.
Right.
Sure. So there is a lot pre-snap.
Okay.
Early on in camp, really we've actually tried to tighten that in and just like go static and really get the bones of the formations, alignment, assignment, keep it pretty simple in ways, but as we get into it, it'll continue to add up and then play, getting into the game plan, and that's when it really ramps up.
All right, Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen, we appreciate you taking some time. We know you got some more important things to do here today. Looking forward to watching this team grow. Looking forward to watching your play calling on Sundays, and
I appreciate
and good luck.
Thank
good
you,
luck
Jeff.
to you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
All right, Liam Cohen earlier today with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser on The Drill. We'll be back with headlines to wrap the program. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
NFL training camps underway for all 32 teams as the season sets to begin in September. The Baltimore Ravens, the betting favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. The Ravens are plus 325. The Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs are both at plus 350. Cincinnati at plus 850. Over in the NFC, the Eagles, who are the defending Super Bowl champions, plus 300 to return to the big game. The Detroit Lions at plus 400. San Francisco is at plus 650. The Washington Commanders are plus 850. The Eagles are the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl at plus 650. The Ravens at plus 700. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
When the unexpected happens, you shouldn't have to face it alone. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we're here to fight for you. Whether it's an auto accident or a slip and fall, our Jacksonville team takes care of every detail, from investigating the incident to securing multi-million-dollar verdicts, so you can focus on getting better. And remember, you don't pay a dime unless we win your case. Our commitment is 24/7, bringing you the real support from real people who really care. Campione Law, your dedicated partners in justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month, you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet is the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV with payments starting in the mid-200s. Designed to go the distance, the Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. You get the drill. They've got it, and they've got it waiting for you. And Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade. Want an even better deal? Ask about demo models for deeper discounts. The bottom line is this. You head to Nimnick Chevrolet, and you're going to wind up getting a great, great deal. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me. If you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hunters Know Patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take the field this Saturday. Kickoff at 7. Tickets start at just $15. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card. All for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Ask about the Sharks 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card, all for only $100. It's Military Appreciation Night, presented by True Vet Solutions. All current and former military can purchase a special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for a jersey auction and autograph session, sponsored by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectible. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it. And send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
All right, JJ's Friday headlines today. Let's start with the Jags as we usually do. So they had, what is this, like the third or fourth day of training camp so far?
Third day.
And Liam Cohen spoke after practice today. Not super impressed by the offense today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it was a bad day. It's just we didn't make any plays. You know, like we got a ton of opportunities to make plays when the ball's in the air. We got to make those plays. And whether it's ball placement, whether it's, you know, making a play when the ball's in the air, it's got to be ours. So, you know, I thought we ran it pretty well at times today in terms of just getting on the right targets and hitting the runs the right way. So it was a balance, but more so I think they understand that we got to go make those plays.
One thing I like about him, JJ, he's been very transparent about the fact that he's an offensive coach. And he needs to learn that when the defense makes a good play, that's me too, because I'm the head coach now. But he's having to make that transition, and he's been honest about it. That's been hard for him. He's used to rooting for the offense every practice he's ever been to. So it's been kind of fun to watch.
And when they don't perform well, you could see it like extra hurts him. You know, like this really is what I came here to do and take care of and stuff like that. But a lot of talk from the talking heads, the 1010XLers today about the running back group and how great they look today.
I got to tell you, I think it's as deep a room as they've had at that position, if not ever, close to ever. Again, you're never going to have the top two like Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew. That's two of the best players in team history on the same team at the same time for a while. But in terms of depth, other than that grouping, it's a really deep group, JJ. This is it seems to be as good a collection of running backs as they've ever had in that room together. It really does.
And you mentioned it earlier, Parker Washington getting a lot of praise, even from, he was asked about it earlier today as well. Like, apparently he's had an excellent start to camp this year.
He looks as good as he's looked since he's been here. He needs to. Look, they don't have a deep group of receivers. They've got Brian Thomas Jr., De'Ami Brown, Travis Hunter, now Parker Washington, who I think are going to be really good. 4 really good ones together. There's not much after that, at least of guys we know. This Josh Cephas guy has had some nice plays in camp, and I assume will be the 5th guy. But there's not a lot after that, so those 4 guys have to be good. But boy, Parker Washington has been so very good so far.
Let's go around the NFL. Justin Fields, a very important update. So if you were on Twitter yesterday morning, it looked like the sky was falling for the Jets. His Achilles, it was something, you know, like everyone was for certain that it had to have been his Achilles when he was carted off the field. Well, it turns out he had a dislocated toe, which is something you like rarely ever hear about. But he was back on the field today, not practicing, of course, but it looks like this is not going to be serious at all. And the Jets are going to be fine with their starting quarterback.
Yeah, he'll be healthy. I'm not sure how good a player Justin Fields is, but I'll say this. After his turns in Chicago and Pittsburgh, there's almost, you say there's less pressure. How can it be? He's in New York. Yeah, but it's almost like the expectations aren't the same anymore. You know that? He doesn't have the expectations of a top 2 pick right now, it doesn't feel like. So I'm not a big fan, but we'll see. It'll be fun to watch.
And if you're on the Jets, what could your expectations possibly be from the Jets?
For the team, correct.
Yeah, exactly
right.
It would have been crazy, though, to have back-to-back Achilles tears from your new quarterbacks after Rodgers a couple years ago.
That's a great point.
Luckily, they dodged that bullet. The big story of the day in the NFL was Christian Wilkins, who just signed a huge contract. He was cut or released by the Raiders, and he's still recovering from a Jones fracture. We just heard Prisco talk about it. They think he needs surgery again, but the Raiders voided the remaining $35 million of guaranteed money left on his contract. I'm assuming his career is not over and he'll end up somewhere else.
Yeah, apparently, and Pete spoke to it today, apparently the issue, JJ, is he needed to have a surgery and didn't have it.
Right.
Whether he refused to have it or didn't think to have it or whether they guessed wrong, but there's something there. If you're all on the same page, you don't let him go with all that guaranteed money, even if he does need another surgery. So we'll see. And look, he's a tough sign. If you sign him now, you can't pay him very much because you don't know when you're going to have him or if you're going to have him.
True. All right, college football. This is my favorite story of the day. In Vegas at Big Ten Media Day, our boy Nico, former Tennessee quarterback, has finally spoken, broken his silence about everything that's happened. And he's defending his decision to leave Tennessee. Believe it or not, he says, my driving factor was to come home and see my family. I wanted to be closer to home. Basically, he said lots of drama, but it didn't have anything to do with NIL, he claims.
Yeah, he said it wasn't about money.
A lot of traveling back and forth for his family that he didn't want.
Yeah, and maybe people in Vegas at a media day or they're in the league in the Midwest might buy that. I know too many people in Knoxville. All right. Jimmy Himes among them. And what I'm told is the dad, it was a money grab by the dad.
Yeah.
And when they wouldn't pay what the dad wanted, they hightailed it. Now that's regardless of what he says, that's certainly the story that I was told and many of us were at the time.
Yeah, I just assumed Tennessee kind of called their bluff.
Yeah, right. That's right.
All right. Also, we got, this is never going to go away for as long as the ACC still exists. The University of North Carolina is reportedly among, quote, several schools interested in seeking a departure from the ACC. That is from North Carolina, Inside Carolina's Adam Smith. He also says UNC could even be considered at the front of the pack alongside Clemson.
But when you read into the story, JJ,
there's really not too much. They're saying like after the
they're
deal.
Saying 1930. I mean, in 2030.
Yeah.
So
which isn't too far away.
They're saying 5 years from now. Well, that's when the buyout goes way down.
Right.
So people are saying, well, we all know when the buyout. The ACC knows they might lose them when the buyout goes down. That's why they waited till 2030. So with apologies to Inside Carolina, I'm not sure they told us anything we didn't know.
Yeah, the Florida State one was we kind of thought there might have been a little bit more to it than that, but yeah, after Florida State got shut down, it looks like everyone's just going to have to stay in the conference. A college football story that broke while we were at SEC Media Days was that Nick Saban is not done coaching. He was on Fox News today, and this is what he had to say about his return.
I never really ever had a thought about getting back into coaching until 2 days ago. Miss Terry said I had to run the sweeper in the entire downstairs. So while I was running the sweeper, the thought occurred to me, when you were coaching, you had a heck of a lot better job than this.
Which I'm assuming the sweeper is the vacuum. I don't know. But he had to vacuum, so he's upset. Listen, I don't care what he says. I wouldn't find it hard to believe that he would eventually come back one day.
You know what?
Soon. Maybe in the NFL.
I don't think he's going to, but you're right. You wouldn't be shocked. Look, I think the fact two or three things. Number one, the today's 70-year-old is yesterday's 60-year-old.
Yeah, he seems really young for his age.
He does, and the fact that Belichick and Pete Carroll are doing it now, one in the NFL, one in college, tells you that if those two guys are back doing it, that means almost anybody can. I can also tell you this, JJ. I know a lot of coaches that retired, enjoyed retired life for a while, not a lot, but a handful, got into their 70s, late 60s, whenever, and missed it terribly.
Yeah.
More than they thought they would. So I don't expect it. If I was betting, I wouldn't bet on it, but I wouldn't be shocked either.
This is in college basketball. I always think about your boy whenever I see these stories, Todd Golden. So Bill Self, unfortunately, is hospitalized and has to undergo a heart procedure. Yeah. I mean, if he leaves in the next season or two, that's got to be a place for him to maybe depart and take a bigger job. Are you at all worried that some bigger school in the basketball world, of course, would be able to steal him away at this point, even though there's so much momentum with the Gators?
Yeah, my guess would be and I said the same thing about Billy Donovan, and we were right. I said the same thing about Steve Spurrier. We were right at the time. I think if he leaves, it will be for the NBA. Now, could he go to the NBA, it not work out, and come back to college? Spurrier did that. He went to the NFL, didn't work out, came back to college on a competing team.
Butch Davis type.
Yeah, correct. So I would be surprised if Todd Golden went Florida to Kansas, Florida to Kentucky, Florida whenever. I don't sense that.
Especially with these new recruits he's got coming in, and he's killing it in the transfer portal.
That would surprise me. Now, would I be surprised if he went Florida to the Sacramento Kings, back to Kentucky? That would not shock me. But it would surprise me if there was a direct line, no matter what job came open. Correct. And to your point about the momentum they have right now, I'd be very surprised if he went from Florida direct line to another college.
It looks like he could win it again next year, so I don't think it would be crazy to go anywhere right now. Before our cool down, have to have Shania as our music to take us away, because just a few minutes ago I heard a certain person at this station has tickets to go see Shania Twain next week.
Might have got my hands on a couple of them. I love Shania way more than my wife. My wife's okay about Shania. I love Shania.
Yeah, you're going to have to convince her.
I got to talk her in. I might be the only guy in America that's got to talk his wife into the Shania concert, but I'm working on it, just so you know that.
It'll be a blast.
Well done on headlines. Very good. You had a long day today, bro. Well done. We will say goodbye in a moment. First, though, where have we been today on the program?
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since 87.
All right, today was a day we were very busy. Hayes Carline had the day off, but Brett Hastings stopped by to talk about the executive order from the president to clean up or tighten up college athletics. He did a great job, I thought. Lee Smith checked in. He's our golf analyst and the executive director of the Players Championship. Talked all about the Ryder Cup points, talked about FedEx Cup points, and the greatness of Scotty Scheffler. Enjoyed doing that. We visited with Pete Prisco, as we always do on a Friday, talking NFL and a whole lot more. He's headed to Miami camp, the Dolphins camp tomorrow, Tampa Bay Bucks camp after that. Then he'll be here in Jacksonville. And you heard the re-airing of Dan and Jeff's interview with Liam Cohen, which was terrific this morning. So it's been a busy, busy show.
He seems like a cool hang.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know if he'll be a great coach. Obviously, none of us know that, but he just feels like a cool guy to sit down and have a conversation with.
I don't know Liam well, but I've had him on twice, and I've been around him off air 4 or 5 times now. Yeah, I think he's a good guy. I think he's a regular guy. I don't think I don't think he's a. I've always said this: the most successful people in the world in any industry take their craft very seriously, but don't take themselves too seriously. And I think he's that guy. So we'll see. Now again, everyone's undefeated now, but yeah, I like him. I think your read's right, JJ. I think he's a pretty good dude. Let's say hello to Rick Below.
Now, the 2-minute drill on 1010XL.
What jumped off the page today? Anybody? Anything?
I think what I witnessed today is that they've had it. They're ready for the pads to go on. And I asked Liam Cohen that exact question. I enjoy listening to you talking to him, by the way. But I just felt that, we started to see more physicality today. There were a couple of knockdowns, one by Ventrell Miller, right where I was standing on the sideline. And, you look at everything they did during the offseason, now these 3 practices today at the Miller Electric Center. I think they want to put the pads on and start hitting.
Yeah, I do too, Rick. And I think that's where you get at this point. Boy, Parker Washington really shows up for me.
3 straight days he's made big plays.
Really shows up, doesn't he?
Yesterday, he really extended, and I was way away. It was way down on the other side of it. And I had to ask someone, who was that? And it was Parker. But I don't think there's any question that's a positivity there, because he worked at all 3 positions last year, and he can do that now, learning a new offense this year. But Washington's played really well.
Made 2 plays today. I was with Lagerman in the end zone, the near end zone where the crowd is, on the near field, and he made 2 catches while we were there. One in the back of the end zone, and then one at the pylon. And boy, he's really looked good. So I agree with you, though. They're ready to hit somebody. What's coming up tonight?
Just my opinion on what I saw out there again today. We'll review that, and got a lot of things that I want to share in my particular opinion as to what did occur. Also, Devin Lloyd, it's going to be a very interesting year for him. He, whether it was Eric Armstead yesterday or Devin Lloyd today or Anton Harrison, who I interviewed on Wednesday, they're all saying the same things about just how different it is. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, does different equal wins? That's the true measure, and we won't know that until early September. But I thought Devin Lloyd had some pretty good things to say about Anthony Campanelli and this defense, so we'll play that coming up as well.
All right, coming up, Rick Ballou goes into the night. Lots of Jaguars talk, as always, on his program. That'll do it for our show. We're going to take off out of here. We'll see you back on Monday. For Hayes Carline, who had the day off, for JJ LaSelva, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.